Welcome to MIFFs. I'm Matt Huss.
And I'm Dan Rhodes. Whether you know about Theseus or you're revising your syllabus,
If you want tales with a bit of jest, or you just want to hear about incest.
What?
What? It's really interesting.
Welcome to MIFFs. Welcome to MIFFs.
Hello and welcome to MIFFs Podcast, episode 102. I'm Matt Hoss and my co-host is...
Also Dan Rhodes.
Also Dan Rhodes. And Dan, it feels like you're 200 miles away from me today.
I am, Matt.
You sound very factual. You don't have that usual warmth to you.
Well, it's just raining. I don't know about you. Well, I'm assuming it's raining where you are because you're in the north, but it's raining here.
So we this is our first episode where we're not together, apart from the ones that I did in Edinburgh without him. But Dan, we're not together. We're doing this over Zoom. Why is that?
Because of COVID-19.
Oh, is that why? Shit, that makes way more sense. I thought we just...
I've always wanted an excuse to social distance from you, and it seems like finally I've got one.
Yeah, like you've been pushing this agenda for years as well.
Yeah, it took someone in China to eat a bat for my goals to finally be realised.
Dan, we've got to ask the critical question here. Did you eat a bat so you didn't have to see me?
Yes.
It makes sense. Finally, we got to the crux of it. Right, but I've been thinking about this, and we are recording about a month into the lockdown, and it's been pretty intense. We'll have a catch up about how it's been going with both of us. But Dan, I'm not sure if this is a good thought, but I've been thinking about how awkward the person who ate that bat must be, because like they probably did it for a dare. Like, all right, David, yeah, we'll just eat a bat. Oh, that'd be crazy, like Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah. And then you have a global pandemic because of one drunken mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would feel pretty bad if you knew that you were the reason why this all happened. Although I don't think they did it as a dare. I think they were just genuinely eating illegal kind of, wildlife.
Oh, that makes me sadder. But I think in my head it feels a bit more like a rom-com kind of thing,
like
a cheesy movie.
Yeah,
like,
you're romanticizing what actually happened, which is a guy or girl went to a illegal wet market in Wuhan and brought lots of weird animals that they shouldn't really have been eating, I guess. And one of those animals was a bat.
Well, and now we're here, and we for the first couple of weeks we thought we couldn't do MIFFs, but we're trying this way out to see if we can do a couple of online episodes just to keep it ticking over and give you guys some more entertainment whilst in lockdown. And hopefully you'll appreciate it, and hopefully you'll like some more Norse MIFFs. Dan, have you been doing them?
Do you know what I've just realised as well, which is quite cool?
What?
I was watching a few things recently on TV. Like I caught the tail end of Martin Lewis's Money Show the other day, and he was doing it like via conference call, basically from his house. And I've seen lots of other celebrities. Like I know Russell Howard's doing a show off of basically using Zoom. And like if I watched that Tiger King, like the last episode, I tried to watch that stupid extra episode they did, and that was filmed on like people's iPhones. So actually, our production value is now the same as these major shows.
Yeah, it's we have finally made it into the bigger leagues now.
Exactly. Thanks to coronavirus, our tech is also the same as everyone else's tech.
But just because it's MIFFs, we aim to just make it that little extra shitter as well. So we will have a lot of mistakes in here, just to kind of keep that. We don't want to get hoity-toity with you, so we want to keep it a ridge, OG.
Yeah, exactly. Just for listeners to know, if it starts to lag, it's probably not actually lagging. It's just me and Matt are idiots.
And we are very bad at communicating with each other.
Yeah, and I'm probably just trying to pronounce a word.
So, Dan, how have you been dealing with the lockdown? Are you enjoying it? Is it irritating? Tell me what have you been doing in the lockdown?
It's not been too bad, actually, I have to admit. So it's just me. There's three of us that live here, as you know. But my housemate Liam isn't in, so it's just me and my housemate Brad, which is nice because it means that we've got slightly more space. The place feels bigger when there's less of you. which has been nice. I actually used my housemate Liam's room as an office, so that's been very nice because I don't really have a desk per se in my room. So it's been handy to have because I need lots of things,
Yes.
and paper and stuff laid out for my job. So I'm like, it's nice to have that. But lockdown's been okay. The days have actually been going by very quickly. I've been impressed. I know my colleagues have also. I was expecting it to be really boring because I'm used to having other people in the office that I can chat to and help the day go by. And actually, I haven't got that. But my days are going quickly, and I have actually been feeling quite productive because in the same ilk, there's nothing to distract you.
But I think you know what? I think you're kind of like, you are pretty good when you get your mind to it. If you know what I mean, you're very much like there is no one to distract me. I will do my work efficiently. No traveling to work. I think you're very like you. I'm a very distracted person. I'm very much like, oh my god, look at that cool thing, and then I won't do any work for 8 hours. But then like you are very much like built for work for home. You're like story Pinocchio, but IKEA furniture come to life. That's essentially what you are. Is that
You're trying
I don't
analogies
know.
again, aren't you?
Right, we did a off-the-air phone call the other day because we do talk to each other, and you said that one of my analogies was really good.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was though, but it was whatever one it was you gave me a few days ago on the phone was very good.
Yeah, but that wasn't the one I just did, but not so much.
Not so much, no. But no, working from home is not bad because I just like I've got my workspace, like I miss my housemate's bedroom, but like that's it. I've got my work stuff in there. It's like become my office, you know. So I know that when I'm in there, I'm not going to be getting distracted by TV or like, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be good and going on my phone just as much as I would do if I was at work. You know what I mean? Like just to kind of break it up. But I'm not. I know some people are. You know, it's very easy when you're working from home to just, do this quickly, or just yeah. And I'm trying to go about my normal routine. I think that's very important when you work from home. You've got to like wake up, shower, eat breakfast, do what you would do normally. Obviously, you get a bit more of a lie-in when your commute is only 10 foot down the corridor rather than.
Oh God, I'm gonna be late again.
Yeah, exactly. Although I was talking to one of my colleagues, her boyfriend apparently has been late to so many of his meetings because he's so naive to the fact that he's like, oh, I like start at 9. I'll like, you know, but then he gets there and then he forgets, oh shit, I've actually got to turn on my computer and I've got to do this and I've got to get changed.
Oh my God, yeah.
But I think it's important to get into a routine, right? Because then you're kind of ready for work. You're like, oh, I'm in work mode now. And whereas I think if you get lazy and you know start doing it in your pajamas or just sitting in your bed, then you might, I don't know. For me, that starts to get distracting then because it's blurred between I'm working or I'm just chilling out.
Yeah, and like I think that's really important because I am an artist, which I mean very unemployed currently. I think I learned as a writer, if you're working from home, that self-motivation, like because you have a motivation because you have a job to do, and but when you're creating stuff, you have to really force yourself to do it. And I think the best way is that like have a shower in the morning or having your routines in the morning and like get changed and get ready for like work in a different room. And I think that helps you so much. Like if you have to, having those same deadlines allows me to get ready and stuff like that, which is really important.
Yeah, exactly. And then the rest of it, like lockdown, I've been watching a lot of TV. I have been reading more. I don't normally read, but I have been kind of reading more. I have been trying to get out and about, go for walks or runs. It's been all right.
Well, we should probably get crack on relatively soon. But our last 2 episodes were our 100th and 101st specials, and they were really special, weren't they, Dan?
They were. It was good fun, though, wasn't it, man? We had a good time.
Yeah, and thank you so much if you came to watch us, and I said watch intentionally there. It was such a good fun night, and we really appreciate all the support and the emails. And we also we got an email from someone who turned up, and we got a few emails, but I just wanted to read this one in particular because it was very sweet. And so after the gig, the person turned up by himself. They just they made a solo trip and traveled quite a long way to see us. And that's it. And bear in mind, we're just 2 random dudes just talking into a microphone. Like we don't really have that many fans, so to have someone do that was really, really sweet. And here's the email, Dan. Hi, this is from Luke, by the way. Hi, I spoke to Matt after, but just wanted to email you guys before I forgot. Just wanted to say a massive thanks. I'm on a little solo trip in York for a few days, and honestly, that is the best thing I've done here. You guys are so funny. 10 out of 10. keep up the good work, I guess. Slightly passive aggressive at the end. Keep up the good work, I guess. Thanks again, Luke. That was nice.
That's nice. I never got to speak to.
Yeah.
I think I vaguely know who that was. Actually, I know you were having a long chat with someone. It must have been him.
Yes, and yeah, thank you so much, Luke. It really means a lot to us as well. And we also got an email of Bobby, who, if you listen to episode 100, she's the one that gives me the Weetabix, which I dismissed very quickly because no one in that room knew the reference to Weetabix either. And
it was kind of awkward.
The fact that no one knew any of our previous jokes, but maybe that was a good thing. But so she writes before the show, "Hello, gentlemen. I'm a new viewer of your MIFFs podcast. So far, it's been good. This may have been discussed already, as I'm only up to episode 8, but as a former Australian, I can say there is nothing at all weird about the amount of Weetabix Dan is eating."
That's good to know. See, I never thought there was anything wrong with me. Yeah, well, her saying that makes me worry that other people think it's weird.
Oh, people have been saying that, right? That's a lot of yeah. I just
ignore the haters.
Like, if you think, she goes on. In fact, in Australia, brackets, where Weetabix are called Weet-Bix, end brackets, eating large numbers of Weetabix is a national pastime, as evidenced by ads like these. And she sent us a link where lots of I think Australian rugby team are like eating like Weetabix, and they ask him how many they eat. He goes, "I'm having 6, mate." And he goes, "Oh, I'm having 8." And the other one's like, "Well, I'm having 24. I'm Australian."
I was going to say, I didn't actually mind Weet-Bix when I had it when I was in Australia and New Zealand. It's actually it's pretty similar to our own one.
Dan, what do you prefer, Weet-Bix or the Morrison's brand version of Weet-Bix I got you for the Christmas special?
Definitely the Australian Weet-Bix, because it actually tastes good.
And finally, Bobby says, "How many do you do?" Brackets HMDYD. End brackets. It's a totally normal question amongst Australians, and actually Dan probably needs to up his game a bit. Dan, you got a challenge there.
Well, I do eat other cereal with it though. It's not just like I'm just eating the Weetabix.
You're not a part-timer, are you, mate?
No, exactly.
And she said, "Oh, and thanks for getting your jingle stuck in my head again." Thank you so much, Bobby. That was really great to read.
Can I just say, in my defence, the only thing I would say about Weet-Bix when I was down under, they are definitely smaller than Weetabix here.
Yeah. See, what you're trying to say is Australians, they kind of have it's a bit easier for them to eat that many.
It's easier, yeah, because they're smaller. Interesting
stuff. But yeah, if you want to send us an email, please email us at misspodcast@gmail.com. That's MIFFs podcast@gmail.com, and get in touch. Tell us about anything you want. But right now we are going into a brand new sparkling myth. Hope you enjoy. Dan, are you excited for a Norse myth? Because we haven't done one for a while.
We haven't done one for a while. Well, we have, because the last one we did one was also one. But you just mean we haven't recorded one for a while.
Yes, that's obviously what I meant. But, so what are we doing today?
A Norse myth. We haven't done one in a while.
Oh, you're such a prick. You know what? I'm glad I ate that other bat.
We are doing Thor's fishing trip.
And have you heard about this myth before? Because you typed it all up, but did you know anything about it before today?
No, I didn't before today. I didn't, as with 99.9% of all the myths we do. I mean, Matt, some of them I don't even know after we've done them.
Oh, talking about that, since the lockdown and you've had a lot more free time, have you done the Myth League table?
So this is Thor's fishing trip. So what this myth is it's about...
Dan, I think there's a bit of a lag there, Dan. I think there's a bit of a lag, and I think that
did you ask me?
You didn't quite hear my question.
Sorry, what was the question?
Because you're in lockdown, have you... The question was, Dan, since we've been in lockdown, we've had a lot more free time. Have you been able to complete the Myth League table?
Yeah, I was just saying, this is episode 102. It's going to be called Thor's fishing trip. I don't know if you want to read it or me or.
Yeah, you take it away, Dan.
The gods decided to hold a feast. Hang on, you laughing? You're fucking ruining it by laughing. Stop having fun.
All right, I'll stop now.
The gods decided to hold a feast, and they decided that Aegir, god of the sea, would host it for them. But the god's abrupt tone annoyed Aegir. He denied having a cauldron big enough to hold the ale necessary for the gods, and demanded that Thor bring him one. Fair. I mean, hey, you're going to drink a lot of ale, aren't you, if you're a god?
I mean, that's a great start to like a myth, you know, like straight like the gods are very much like, we're going to hold a feast and that guy's going to host it for us. That's like an aggressive, like, come down with me. Like, just like, you just turn up to someone and thought, we're having it at your house. And I'd like it,
it's like,
well, I don't have it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have the facility to do a party like that. I don't have the required items and tools available to hold that. And they're like, well, not our problem. See you Saturday. That's like saying to someone, hey, Matt, I'm coming around to your house for a barbecue tomorrow. And then you say, oh, Dan, I don't own a barbecue. And I say, well, not my problem. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit, I'm now going to go and buy a barbecue.
And I kind of like it because Aegir is very much like, well, if you want one, I suppose, you know, you're going to have to get one yourself then. He's a bit passive aggressive as Aegir. I like him.
Yeah, I like though that the Vikings clearly hold dinner parties like we do. When someone's like, "Oh, would you like me to bring anything?" and you're like, "Yeah, bring whatever disgusting food you like, so you can eat it."
Absolutely. And imagine drinking a cauldron of ale though. That's a good night out.
That is, but it sounds like it's a big cauldron. That's what he's after, right? He wants he's like, I haven't got enough, like a reciprocal big enough to store all the ale the gods will drink. Because spoiler alert, they probably drink quite a lot.
Yes. Well, let's see how much ale is big enough for them.
None of the gods possessed such a large cauldron. Tyr remembered that his father, the giant Hymir, had a cauldron that was a mile deep. That's a big cauldron, that is, just for...
that's, you know what, I think I could smash that.
What, a cauldron a mile deep? And God knows how many miles across. Like, God knows what the circumference of that thing is.
Well, it could be very narrow. Very narrow.
Well, the word cauldron, to me, kind of shows what the shape should look like. Otherwise, they'd call it a...
Yes, for sure.
A funnel or something. Tyr, the god of war,
a test tube.
Yeah, exactly. Tyr, the god of war, who is also the son of Hymir, tells Thor that to take the cauldron from his father, they must be cunning. Thor travels to Hymir disguised as a young boy under the guise of the name Viewer, as not to make the giant suspicious. He took Tyr with him as he was the giant's son and could help outwit the fierce giant. So Tyr is the god of war and he's half giant, or he is a giant, but he happens to live in Asgard, which is cool.
Well, and Tyr was the guy that... Was he the one that put his hand in Fenrir's mouth?
Yes, I think he was. Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's quite a nice god of war. He's a lovely god of war with one hand.
With one hand, yeah. But so basically, he's like, my dad owns a cauldron, and Thor's like, sweet, let's go. and Thor's disguised as a boy, by the way. I don't know why that is. I assume that's because the gods hate Thor, so that he doesn't want to piss them off.
Yes, I think. I'm not quite sure how he can disguise himself. You know what I mean? Like, because he has a big red beard in this as well. So I imagine he's just kind of like wearing that hat with like the helicopter on the top and the rotor, like which American kids wear.
Yeah.
It's got that, a protruding belly and a massive hammer. It's like, yeah.
And he's like, I'm a kid. Totally. Yeah.
It's like in episode 100 we had him dress up as a wife, as a bride, and I don't think his acting skills are very good.
Yeah, that's true. That is famous. Your acting skills are legendary. The two gods travelled as far east as they could go, to the near end of earth and sky, in heaven, where Hymir's hall sat on a hillside near the sea. Sounds very beautiful, doesn't it? Upon their arrival, they are greeted by Tyr's mother and his 900-headed grandmother, who tell them to hide in the cauldron, as Hymir does not take kindly to guests. We should probably backtrack. Yes, you're correct. That was a 900-headed. He has a 900-headed grandma.
Imagine if you were that woman, and like you got 900 heads, and you give birth to your daughter who only has one head. That's a weird. that's going to be a bit of a, like, pardon the pun, a head fuck, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to learn any more about his grandmother. I think that's just it, by the way. We're just meant to accept that she has 900 heads, and we're just going to carry on blindly through the myth, like not going back on that. But anyway.
That is so Norse myths, though, to kind of like go like, yeah, here's this 900 head woman, and nothing more shall be said about that ever for the entirety of this mythology series. Like,
yeah, just accept that's a thing. So they've arrived. His mum and grandma are like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" But also, he's going to be pissed off when he finds out, when your dad gets home and finds out you're here. So maybe you guys should hide. After knocking down all of his,
sorry, go on.
Go on, make your joke.
You know what your dad's like. He doesn't like guests. He gets into a murderous rampage.
Yeah, we can get them. Yeah, we can get them. After knocking down all of his cauldrons, bar the one Thor and Tyr are hiding in, Tyr's mother finally plucks up the courage to introduce Thor to Heimir as Vur, the enemy of Heimir's enemy. Okay, so they're like, hey, this little boy, he's not Thor, and also he hates the guy that you hate. Also, not going to say who that is because Norse mythology, we don't want to do that.
Can we got to talk about something here, though, because like Thor, he's disguising himself as a boy, but he's called Vur. That is so close to Thor. Why? You know what I mean? And that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's like if you try to like, I'm trying another analogy here, but if I tried to change my name instead of Matt, I would just Nat. You know what I mean? Like it's not a massive change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And also, surely Tyr's dad, Heimir, the giant, surely he knows that his son's job is to be the god of war in the Asgard. So he knows he's going to have, like, god friends.
Dad, you're embarrassing me in front of my god friends.
Yeah. Is he not concerned as to why his son is just rocked up with a boy?
Yeah, because, maybe, you know, Tyr, that's his vibe, you know?
Well, they're saying that they've introduced Thor, obviously as the boy Vor, but they've said that, oh, this is the boy Vor, and don't worry, Dad, his enemy is the same as your enemy. Why would the giant believe that a kid has enemies the same? Like, do you mean he'd be like, why has he got an enemy? He's a kid.
Yeah, imagine if you're like at like a newborn hospital. It's like, oh, look at little Timmy. He's brand new. He's only 2 months old, and he has 10 deadly mortal enemies.
Yeah, exactly. This 10-year-old just got a mortal enemy, and the giant's just like, yeah. Anyway, Heimir begrudgingly accepts his son and his friend into the hall. He even slaughters 3 of his bulls for the boys' provision during their stay. He is, however, shocked when Vur devours 2 of the 3 slaughtered bulls in one sitting. The next morning, Heimir said that if they were to eat again together, they would need to eat and go and get more food. Okay, that's hilarious. So he's like, hey, what do you boys want to eat? And Thor, obviously pretending he's a 10-year-old, like, I'll get 3 bulls, please. And the giant's like, all right. And then he's eating them all, and he's like, huh. Holy shit, this is an expensive house guest.
Yeah, like they go to the McDonald's. Like, can I have the whole restaurant, please? Like, count 2 full cows.
That's jokes. Okay, so he's now like, okay, crap. If this little boy's going to stay here for the next few days, like they're going to really, I'm going to need to go and get more food. I'll go fishing. Take it away, Matt.
At dawn, the giant got up and prepared himself to go fishing. When Thor saw this, he quickly got out of his bed and asked the giant if he could come with him. Heimir said, shall I do the voice, or would you like to do the voice?
Go on, do the voice. Go on, you do it.
Heimir said, what help can I expect from you? You are so young and so small. You will probably freeze to death because I will row very far out onto the sea. Thor replied, What
voice do we do for Thor?
Maybe it's Vur and he's a little boy. Maybe
that's true. Yeah, okay. I need to say it as his disguise. Yeah,
but do it as like a grown man trying to imitate a young child.
Okay. Double layered. Okay. Thor replied, I will not stop you from rowing out to the sea, and it might as well be you who will freeze first, mister.
You sound like a Victorian servant. Oh, go blimey, mister.
I think that's how Thor would think a kid. Like, how many kids does Thor hang out with? He probably doesn't even know what they sound like.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So Thor is kind of set a bit of a challenge, and Hymir accepts, telling Thor to collect some bait from his pasture. Thor went and caught the biggest ox he could and ripped off its head and took it with him down to the boat. I love it how he just like, yeah, we've got this cow here. How are we going to kill it? Kill it humanely? No, just rip off its head.
Also, it's an ox as well. Those things are hench.
I like it. It just kind of like twists its head like a Pez machine. Hymir is dismayed when Thor comes back with the head of his best ox, Himrenrot, the Heaven Bellower. Now that's a cool name. But right, so both of these people are bad, both house host and also house guests, because Hymir tried to kill him, but then he offered him food. But then Thor was eating him out of house and hold and killed his best ox. You know what I mean? Like he's not. Both of them are quite rude people.
Yeah. Also, that's horrific. Just for clarity, here's an analogy. That's like me going to your house and you saying, "Hey Dan, what do you want for dinner?" And I say, "Oh, I'll go cook something up." And you say, "Yeah, cool, no worries." And then you come back to find that I killed your cat.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were.
And then you'd be like, "What are you doing? That's my cat." And I'll be like, "Oh, you didn't say I couldn't."
Yeah, it's like, well, obviously I was going to do it, and it's really strong.
Also, has the giant not questioned why a young boy has just ripped the head off an ox?
It's like a 10-year-old just going, that was my biggest ox. It's called the Heaven Bellower. Yeah, I just ripped it with my 10-year-old muscles.
I just grabbed it by the neck. That's hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of discrepancies going on here. Anyway, Hymir and the nuisance Veer launched the boat. After some time, Hymir took over the oars and Thor urged him to row further out into the sea. After a while, the giant said, "Okay, boy, we are at my spot now. This is where I always fish." Thor replied,
"Let's go further out. There are bigger fish out there, Mr. Giant."
Mr. Giant. That's my BDSM name.
Yeah.
Thor got up and sat down towards the stern, taking the two oars from the giant and beginning to row. So again, he's not really hiding his anonymity here. It's like very much just, why is this 10-year-old swimming out to sea with this big old giant on?
Yeah, exactly.
15 minutes later, the giant said, "I think we should stop here. We are already very far out, and it's dangerous to go further out to sea." Thor did not listen to the giant and kept rowing the boat further out to sea, which made the giant clearly worried and unhappy.
The giant and the god rowed out to sea in Hymir's boat. Thor kept urging Hymir to row further and further from shore, but Hymir was fearful of Jormungand, the Midgard serpent who lurked below the deepest part of the ocean. Hymir refused to row one stroke until finally Thor gave in. He pulled up his oars, began to prepare his line. He baited the hook with the ox head and threw it overboard, where it sank to the bottom.
So, imagine Hymir just put a worm on the end of his hook, and Thor just put a bull's head on.
Also, he's got no respect for the fact that that's clearly that guy's prized animal.
Yeah, and he's just been sat there for about 3 hours in this boat, pestering.
He's so uncouth, Thor. He's hilariously bad at
Yeah, absolutely. But we've just heard the name of Jormungand and the Midgard serpent. Dan, can you tell us more about Jormungand? What do you remember?
Jormungand is Thor's arch enemy, and they they will eventually fight in Ragnarok. He's like a giant world serpent. He encircles the whole world, and he's like monstrously big and lives in the seas.
Well, he encircles the whole of Earth, which is Midgard, not the entirety of the Yggdrasil. Very different. But also, at this point in Norse mythology, the only time that we've seen Jormungand before. Do you remember that? There's one other time, and they haven't fought yet. This is, when else has Thor encountered Jormungand? Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
It was at the Utgard challenge, which he tried to pick up a cat from the floor, but it was actually the world serpent.
Oh yes, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
But that's where Thor's first hatred of Jormungandr comes, because he bested him in that.
Yes, that's it. I remember, and also because Thor likes a challenge, doesn't he? And a giant, like earth-eat devouring serpent is pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right, so
okay, so he's throwing an ox head over. He's like, they're sitting there fishing. Finally, they've gone really far further out than Jaime wanted. Jaime, fishing, quickly pulled up 2 whales. Their fight churning the water into a whirlpool. All right, he's good at fishing. They've only been there a couple minutes, and he's already pulled up 2 whales.
Also, how big is the boat for him to catch a 2 whales?
It's obviously very big.
The opposite end of the boat. It's like, you okay? It's like, can you row faster? What? Like, just awkward.
A few hours went by until something had taken It was the Midgard serpent. It had opened its mouth, swallowed the ox head. The hook had dug itself into the gums of its mouth, and the serpent moved back and forth in pain.
Oh.
Thor did not hesitate and began to pull up the line, to lash the sea into a frenzy, but Thor did not grip. His feet so strongly against the bottom of the boat that they broke through, and Thor stood seabed. All right, his disguise is gone.
Yes.
I mean, he was a child, and now he's broken out of his disguise and is now a god standing on the bottom of the sea fighting the world serpent. I'm pretty sure his disguise is up.
Well, he hasn't even tried to hide at any point, by the way. He never tries.
But even more so now. You know what I mean?
But at no point has he ever thought to have any restraint. He's like, nope, let's just do it now.
So he's fighting the serpent so much that now there's like massive waves, basically, right? The sea is like all churning. Thor slowly begun to pull it upwards toward the boat when the head of the Midgard serpent Jormungandr emerged from the surface of the water. It was the most terrifying sight anyone had ever seen. Thor looked right in its eyes, and it stared straight back at him. He pulled Jormungandr up to the kill, and then over to the gunwale. The serpent twisted and tugged and roared and spat poison.
Hold on. What's a gun whale, and is that something that Jaime caught, like a whale with guns attached to it, like?
Yeah, it's either a whale with with an AK, or I think a gun whale is like the bit, isn't it? On the big bit, like the front of the boat, like where they've dragged it over the front of the boat.
Well, that's a great naval knowledge. Well done, Dan.
At this point, the giant Jaime had crawled up into the corner of the boat. He had turned completely pale and was shaking in fear. Just at this moment, Thor grabbed his hammer and raised it into the air, ready to kill the Midgard serpent. Jaime, who still had the bait knife in his hand, quickly cut Thor's line, and the serpent sank back into the sea. Thor, angered by the giant's cowardice at the moment he was about to dispatch the serpent, and also his arch nemesis, struck Jaime with a blow by Mjolnir, his hammer, knocking Jaime out of the boat briefly. Okay, a lot to take in there.
Okay, yeah. So, firstly, something we didn't acknowledge earlier, which I did want to put, when he threw the ox head overboard, and his line was so long that his line sank to the bottom of the ocean. That's ridiculous, by the way. But a lot of action there, and Thor almost had his revenge, but didn't quite, and he knocked out Jaime. But the thing is, because he's a giant, it was like very shallow water for him.
He stood back up and got in the boat.
Yeah, it's like my ankles are wet. It's like a puddle for him.
He's okay. He's just a bit dazed. I mean, he's just been punched by Thor. I mean, it's probably going to hurt.
Is anything else to add, or should I continue?
Basically, it sounds pretty crazy. There must have been a few minutes of just craziness as he's like fighting this serpent. It was probably over quite quickly.
Absolutely.
Also, can I just say, it was spitting poison as Thor stared into its eyes. That's badass.
Yeah, that's some ultra WTF points right there.
Yeah, like you're staring into this demon's eyes as it's spitting poison at you, and Thor's like, "Yeah, come on then." Like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of like Thor is a massive badass, isn't he? You know, I think it's he's pretty like you know, he's a knob, but he's a pretty cool one. When the time comes, he does get some excellent moments.
He does. He does.
But I kind of feel for Jormungandr actually, so I'm kind of glad he survived.
Yeah, he'll come back.
Literally, come crawling on back. Together, the two return to shore. Hymir asks Thor whether he would carry the two whales to the hall or simply drag the boat up past the high tide line. In reply, Thor dragged the boat, the two whales, and Hymir himself back to the hall.
Yeah. Oh, he's like roided up now. Thor.
Yeah.
He's got adrenaline. He's ready.
Also, I like it how Hymir is like, right, I need to go fishing to go and get food for you, and Hymir got two whales, and Thor got nothing as well. Like he very much is leeching off everyone else right here. Anyway, Now back in his great hall, Hymir is intimidated by Thor's strength and fearlessness in his near capture of Jormungand. Rather unwisely, Hymir challenges Thor with another task: to smash his unbreakable glass goblet. So that's a good challenge right there. So he's trying to set this challenge for Thor. Dan, how would you break an unbreakable glass goblet?
Well, it's unbreakable, so I probably couldn't. But I would probably. I feel like I would throw it, or just kind of. I would wash it. I would wash it up, okay, in the sink, and I would go to put it on. I would go to put it on the draining board, but purposely not put it on there properly, so it slides off and falls onto the kitchen tiles. Because as we all know, that will shatter anything into a million pieces. Absolutely.
Or leave it out for your flatmate, and they'll steal it and have it in their room for the next 2 years. That's uni life for me. So let's see if Thor can smash it as well. Thor threw the goblet at a stone pillar, but it was the pillar that broke into bits. I love how elegant Thor is as well, just very much going, all right, like instantly just throwing it.
That's hilarious. Like, he hasn't even thought about how he's going to, how will I break this? He's just picked it up at the dinner table and just threw it like down the corridor.
And it breaks the structure. It's like, that was a low-bearing wall, mate. No.
He just put a hole through this guy's house.
And he just smacked him in the face as well already. Like,
I love the idea, right, that he throws it, it breaks the pillar and half of his house collapses. And then there's a pause. And then Heine's like, I meant outside, but okay. Like,
yeah. This is the last time you're having dinner.
We would do this in the garden, but fine. Yeah.
Hymir's wife whispered to Thor that he should throw the goblet at Hymir's head, which is solid as a rock. So, oh my god, this is great, because Hymir's wife has had enough of this bullshit, and it's like, right, I hate Hymir, I want to get divorced, but it's too expensive. Right, Thor, you're the strongest god there is, throw this unbreakable goblet against his head. That's murder.
Can I just say, he's already smashed his hammer into this guy's head, like he's already knocked him out.
Yeah, that's really, like, there's a lot
literally
of...
moments ago, he knocked him out, like...
That doesn't stand, does it? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Thor did this instantly, and it smashed the goblet against his head. But let's see what happens to Hymir. Tell you what, Dan, I'm loving this myth. It's so many twists and turns that you didn't expect. It was great. Hymir sadly recognized defeat, and his strength ebbed away from him because he has a concussion, apparently.
I wonder if that would happen. I wonder if a god beating you up twice in the head in the space of a 12-hour period would give you a concussion. Yes, I'm pretty sure it would. He's had a bad day at the office.
Yeah, God. And he's only trying to be relatively nice towards him as well. He gave the cauldron to Tyr and Thor. Tyr was unable to lift it, but Thor was able to hoist the cauldron to his shoulder, and they walked away. Thor turned for one last look at the giant's hall and saw a throng of many-headed giants had congregated and were coming after the gods for revenge. Thor swung Mjolnir again and again, killing all the giants. So there's more many-headed giants there, but they were like, "Hey, he's just all like cauldron," and he's like, "Well, you're gonna die as well." So Thor's committed a genocide, and we're supposed to be okay with that.
Yeah, well, he hasn't committed a genocide. He's not killed all the giants. He just killed like quite a few in this village.
That's fine. Yeah, that's definitely fine. After that, Thor and Tyr returned home to Asgard, acclaimed by the gods. That winter, and every winter since, the gods enjoy ale brewed in the sea giant's cauldron. And that is today's myth. Yeah. All right, let's go and rank this.
Hey there, my name is Matt Huss, and in this link I have an American accent, and I advocate the safe use of MIFFs podcasts in small doses.
Dan, now that was a treat that kept on giving. Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy that. That was good fun.
So we always rank this in 4 categories, which are?
Life skills, morals, creativity, WTF.
And let's start with life skills, as ever, and these are the practical things that we learn. So, Dan.
I thought this is going to be a high score, just FYI. Life skills, I think we learned a lot, you know?
Well, let's talk through it. We learned how to brew ale.
But we learned how to brew ale. We learned how to disguise ourselves as a young boy, albeit poorly. I mean, the acting skills weren't up to scratch, but the disguise was good at least.
Also, sorry, go
on. We learned how to hide in a cauldron. We learned how to fish.
We learned how to fight. We also learned how to cut rope.
We learned how to cut rope. We learned how to carry a boat. We learned how to smash an unbreakable goblet. We learned how to knock out a giant. We learned how to rip an ox's head off.
Yeah. And we also learned how to kill a lot of... Yeah, we also learned how to like ignore an awkward fact. Like you see a grandma with 900 heads, ignore it.
Ignore it, yeah.
That's also moral, I guess. But you know what? I'm going to smashing a goblet and smashing a load-bearing wall.
Yeah, we learned how to row out to sea. That was a big one. Like, they rowed a long way.
Dan, I'm going to say 10.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a 10, though.
I don't know. It's what more do you want? We learned DIY. We learned how to fish. We did everything.
I suppose we did learn how to fight. We learned how to fish. We learned how to, like, throw stuff.
And it's varied in lots of different categories as well.
How to cook. I mean, he slaughtered and cooked 5 bulls. They had a banquet with the bulls, didn't they?
Exactly.
We learned how to eat lots of bulls. Okay, yeah, I'll give you 10.
Get in. Da, 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 da. Morals. What moral things did we learn? Right, because I think we discussed it a bit earlier. We learned a bit like we learned how not to be a good guest to begin with, but then Jaime actually did become quite a good guest. He came accommodating. He kind of forgave his guests when he was a bit of a knob. We also learned how to be a bad house guest as well. Like, this is a major thing because Thor ended up like being victimized to begin with, but then Thor was really, really bad on all accounts as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And what happened to Tyr during this episode as well? Did he just put his feet up and just hang out with his mum?
I think he was just hanging out with his mum and grandma. Like, he probably doesn't get to go home very often, so he was probably just like having it's like a weekend at home for him, isn't it? Just like catch up with family.
And his dad's just been beaten up by
by his friend,
a portly boy. Yeah.
This would be embarrassing if you were Tyr, by the way, because essentially what's happened in layman's terms is he has brought a colleague from work, right? They're gods in Asgard. That's their job. He's brought a work colleague / friend to his childhood home to see his parents, to ask for a family heirloom, i.e. the cauldron. And what's happened is his friend and colleague has just been the worst house ever, and they've had to leave. That would be awkward.
Yeah, it's you know what I think about. It is very awkward, and yeah, I think they're gonna be like, son, do you want to be hanging out with that guy? He's no good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's like inviting someone like, oh, mum, dad, do you want to meet my new friend? And then the friend comes around for dinner and is like horrifically racist or something. And they're just like,
just wearing a clan hood as well.
Yeah. And he smashes all your stuff, and then you're like, oh, this was a bad friend to bring. I read, mum, he's not normally like this when he's at work. I promise. I didn't know he was like this outside of it.
But he obviously is, though. Thor is always like this. He's such a one-dimensional.
Yeah, he definitely knew.
So Thor is really bad in this. He kills lots. He kind of goes after Jormungandr for no reason. He eats him out of house and home. He steals. He kills giants. I think he's a bad apple, and there in tow is a high moral mark, right?
Because he's been bad. Yeah.
And also, he threw a goblet at the host's head. I mean, that is a bad.
Also, though, there's a moral, which is that Jaime is being kind of humbled a little bit because he sounds, by all accounts, to be a bit of a dick. And Thor's actually gone in there and proved to him that actually he's not the biggest, baddest thing around.
Yeah.
Jaime
Yeah.
obviously carries himself as being a bit of like, this is my, I'm the biggest, baddest giant around here. And he's obviously a bit rude to strangers. And he's probably, like, by the sounds of his, probably a bit of a dick. And fancies himself a bit as like the best fisherman, strongest, all that kind of stuff. And Thor's gone in there in the course of like literally like a day or like a weekend and just, I think he's quite, he's a different person.
Yes,
this Jaime,
absolutely.
isn't he? He's like,
well, he's a different person because his cortex is being destroyed. Like his frontal lobes all hanging out. That's why.
Yeah. But also, he was humbled when Thor was fighting. Like when Jormungandr and him were fighting, and they were like he was, like he froze because he was like, oh my god, maybe this is a bit out of my depth.
Yeah. So what do you think score-wise? Because I think to be honest, it sounds like it's going to be a high morals.
I'm thinking like an 8. I don't know why it would be. The only reason it's not a 10 or anything is because I feel like there wasn't a huge, like, I know I just said that you've got Jaime kind of had a story arc where he went from being a dick to being humbled, but no one else really. I thought just went from being a dick to being a dick. Like no one's really learned a huge lesson.
Yes, but let's say 8 because I think 8's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, not maybe 9 because I think in terms of morals, I think maybe 9 it could be decent.
I still think 8.
Okay, 8.
Also, because there wasn't like it was only like the characters that had other moral journeys. Sometimes you have different kinds of like things going on.
Okay, yeah. Let's look at creativity, and I think this is smashing out of the park. There's so much going on here. There's twists and turns at every bit. The fact that Jaime's wife knows he's got everything is so questionable. There's so much going on, but it only happens for a second. 900 grandma. The fact that Jaime's head is solid as rock, and he has a stone goblet that's not smashable, and his wife tells him to smash it. All these. That's one paragraph.
Yeah, and they never go back to this as well. We never why his head is as strong as rock or why there's a 900 grandma. It just is. That's just what it is. And the ox, they didn't have to write in that not only was his. I mean, that's really creative. Like, not only has he gone and killed an ox, but it happens to be his favorite ox. And not only is it his favorite ox, he's also got a really sick name.
Yes, absolutely. The Heaven Bellower.
And Thor ripped its head off. Like that, even things like that. Like he didn't use his hammer or anything. And the whole time he's described as he's like a 10-year-old kid.
yeah. But there's so many layers here. I honestly think this. This is a deep. It's a rich myth, if you know what I mean. There's a lot going on. We got massive monsters. We got gods being dicks. We got giants as well. We also have more nuanced characters like Tyr just kind of taking a bit on the back burner as well, and Aegir as well. The fact that Aegir is like, I guess we're gonna do it in your house now, and also he's like, well, go and get me a cauldron, and I guess I'll do it, which is a bit of an impossible task. I think there's lots.
Do you know what? Actually, I am willing to up to a 9 purely because of that thing I just mentioned, which is the morals of the fact that he's hosting a party.
Get in.
That's a good one though, right? There we go.
Yes. You know what, for creativity, and I'm not doing this because of the high score already, but I think 10. I don't know what more you can want out of this myth.
Yeah. So at the end is the icing on the cake when he kills all those giants.
Yeah, it's kind of like
very funny. It is when he's like, "Oh, break this goblet," and Thor's like, "Cool," picks it up and throws it. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? This is my house."
Yeah,
I didn't mean right this second to try and. I meant like with the hammer. I didn't mean throw it down my corridor.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. He is the worst guest possible. And the funny thing is, and the best thing about this, Thor's going to act exactly this way at Aegir's party, and that's why he didn't want him to be there.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. No, but creativity, there's a good narrative. There's a quiet bit going on. Like you say, there's lots of unwarranted exposition, which is actually quite funny in MIFFs because you're like, cool, she's got... Why wouldn't she?
I'm saying 10. Doing it.
All right, let's do it. I agree. I did really enjoy this MIFF. It had a lot.
And finally...
The added creative caveat, which is that Thor came so close to killing his arch nemesis and didn't. Still hasn't got
it. So we kind of covered this already, but let's talk about WTF because there's a lot going on here as well. Firstly, killing a lot of giants. The fact that he smacked Harry in the head with Mjolnir, and that did nothing, but he threw a goblet at his head and knocked him out. And
throwing the hammer at his head did do something. It knocked him out the boat. He was briefly unconscious.
Yes, but I mean, like the fact that Mjolnir, the strongest weapon ever, wasn't as strong as a goblet to his head.
Yeah, that's true.
But what I like here is both we get WTF in the sense of genuine gore and kind of violence, but we also get WTF in terms of societal and kind of etiquette rudeness as well, like WTF in that sense as well. So there's two layers of WTF.
Yeah, because you got like not to be a dick, like, and you've also got a good narrative. Like there was a storyline; it was believable. I was envisioning it quite easy. I was following it quite easily. Like you could imagine all this happening.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's blood, there's gore, there's a big old fight, there's poison, I think also just raging personalities as well. I'm going to say a 9.
Yeah, I think an 8 or a 9.
9.
Why? I'm just a bit worried we're doing this just because we want it to be a really high score, though. But does it need? How many moments were that? It was very creative and it was very like. But how much WTF was it? Like, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of it felt within the realms of normal.
Right, no, hold on. Mile-long cauldron. We got nine-headed grandma. Thor acting as a boy. We're not really doing it very well. We've got, we have the fact that Hymir tries to kill him straight away. The fact that Thor tries to challenge him out to the sea. I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of massive moments. That very theatrical.
No, you are
moments.
right. And like he pulled 2 whales up. That was weird.
Also, the fact that he's got and also there's a massive hook in Jormungand's mouth as well. There's a massive, it was really do or die, you know, and it's a big moment.
Okay, 9.
Here we go. We don't need to add that up, so that is 38. Bish bash bosh.
That is crazy score.
That's our highest ever one, Dan.
That is our highest ever one.
Hey. That was nice. Good stuff.
That was a very good myth. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was nice it was a nice little break, wasn't it, from lockdown and all the sadness that's happened.
But yes, and I hope you enjoyed it, Dan, and I hope you, listener, enjoyed it as well. We're going to be doing quite a few of these lockdown episodes, so we might be doing a couple of live things and special bonus stuff, so why don't you like our page, the Misfits and Miss Podcast on Facebook, and follow us at Miss Podcast on Twitter.
That, basically, Matt said.
And where can people, what else should people do, Dan?
Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yes, and please share it with
or
friends.
Or whatever platform they're on.
That sounds good. Dan, we'll be doing this again soon, but I hope you... what are you going to be doing tonight? Are you getting any major plans? Are you going to have a party indoors?
I think I'm actually... yes, I'm doing... I think I'm Skyping or like FaceTiming some colleagues that I haven't seen since we've all been working from home, which would be nice.
Well, that sounds good. Well, let's get going. Thank you so much. I've been Matt Hoss.
And I've been Dan Rhodes.
And we've been MIFFs. I tried to get us to sync at the same time. We didn't plan it, and I thought it would be quite nice sync at the end. We didn't do it.
Well, I was like, woo!
I was hoping you would say MIFFs at the same time. Should we try again? And we've been MIFFs. We did rehearse that one. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye.
MIFFs. MIFFs.
Dan, if you just want to pause there for a second, my cat's back. I'm just going to deal with her again. One sec.
Yeah.
All right, you. No. You've had the cat.
I love that Matt's cat is always interrupting our podcast, even when I'm not even in the same room. This happens whenever we film at his house. It's always this stupid cat wanders in. He's going to be ages. He's probably making out with it. He does a lot of weird shit with that cat.